Good morning, dear students. So, today, hopefully, we will complete this chapter, The Adventure, in class 11th. Now, this was the point where we stopped. Let me recap yesterday's stories, what happened, what we read yesterday. After 2 days' journey in another world, Professor Gaitonde came back to the real world and he shared each and everything with his friend Rajendra. Now, when they discuss about the point of battle of Panipat, thereafter, to prove his point, Gangadhar or Professor Gaitonde showed him 2 pages or 1 page which was pushed in his pocket, and he also added that he lost the Bhau Sahebanchi Bhakar book in the Azad Maidan in the great crowd. So at that point they were discussing, and we also got to know the two qualities like leadership and the morale in a battlefield is the most important parts. And yesterday's ending point was that when Vishwas Rao got a bullet, so the morale of the army of Maratha got down, and they find something which was not in their favor. Means they were losers, they lost the battle, and you can say anyhow they have to leave that part from their hand. Okay, so this was the thing that they were discussing, and we know very well that the Professor Gaitonde has taken the history in another way. In another way means, in reality the battle of Panipat was won by Abdali, but he says that Maratha won the battle. Now we carry on. Maybe so, similar statements are made about the Battle of Waterloo. Okay, now the second example of Waterloo, which Napoleon could have won. This battle could have won by Napoleon, but we live in a unique world which has a unique history. This world has a unique history. This idea of it might have been is okay for the sake of speculation. For the sake of speculation, but not for reality. But not for reality. So here it is show that this Waterloo war could have been won by Napoleon, but the thing which have taken place, that was unique history, and the idea of having saying okay, and saving has said okay for the sake of speculation forming opinion without knowing all facts. Okay, but for the reality, Gangadhar Pant said, but in the reality it is expected okay for some consideration. Then I take issue with you here. In fact, that brings me to my second point, which you may find strange. Now here Rajendra Prasad will discuss his second point. Okay, but please hear me out, Rajendra said. It means right now Rajendra is going to discuss with Professor Gaitonde his second point. Second point means second theory. When the first theory was catastrophe theory, which we discussed in the previous page. Now, Gangadhar Pant listened expectantly as Rajendra continued. So, means Gangadhar Pant listened him carefully. What do we mean by reality? Now he put a question. What do we mean by reality? We experience it directly with our senses or indirectly via instruments. What is reality? That we experience with our senses, okay, five senses, or indirectly via instruments or with some instruments. So this is called reality, but it is limited to what we see. It has a limitation, whatever we see. Does it have other manifestations? Does it have other act of appearing as a sign? Manifestation means the act of appearing as a symbol, as a sign. Okay, that reality may not be unique, has been found from experiments on very small system. Okay, this reality is not that much unique that we find in unique history. Okay, of atom. Now he gives the example of science of atom and their constituent particles. When dealing with such system, when dealing with the atom system, the physicist means a person of physics, a person who deals with physics subject, discovered something startling. Startling means surprising. The behavior of these system, the behavior of the atoms cannot be predicted, cannot be foretold, cannot be foretold definitely, definitively, even if all the physical laws governing those systems are wrong. If all the rules of physics knows by this system, so that cannot be predicted, that cannot be tell beforehand. Now take an example. Now he gives an example. I fire an electron from a source. Now I fire electron. Where will it go? Where will it go if I fire a bullet from a gun in given direction at a now now Rajendra is giving him a good kind of example. Given speed, I know where it will be at later time. So he gives us example like if I fire an atom, where it will go, and if I fire a bullet, where it will go. So there is difference between both of them. You understand, my dear child, my dear children? Like bullet will go in the same direction and it will not return. Meanwhile, atom may return with some other force. Okay. So, but I cannot make such an assertion. Assertion means positive declaration for the electron. Electron means bullet will not come back, as well as it will go in the same direction. But he cannot say something about electron. It may change its path. It may change its direction. It may be here, there, anywhere. Means atom can go anywhere, not in any fixed direction. It I can at best quote odds for it being found in a specified location at a specified time. I can at best quote odds means it will not go in certain direction. The lack of determinism. Determinism what? Actually, beta, this word belongs to physics. It is a belief that people are not free to choose what they are like, okay, or how they behave, because these things are decided by background, surrounding, and other things over which they have no control. In the same way, an atom behaves in quantum theory. Okay, this is the theory, quantum theory. The second point is quantum theory. The first one was catastrophe theory. Even an enormous historian like me has heard of it, Professor Gaitonde said. Even Professor Gaitonde also agreed, okay, that I also have heard. Even he belongs to history and Rajendra belongs to science subject. So both of them, they agreed at one point, that was the quantum theory, the lack of determinism in quantum theory. So imagine many world pictures. So he told him to imagine some pictures. In one world, the electron is found here, in another it is over there. So one electron can be found in both the worlds. In yet another, it is in still different location. In both the world, the location is different. Once the observer finds where it is, okay, we know which world we can talk, which world we are talking about, but all those alternative world could exist just the same. Means both the world they are existing in the same, but the location of the atom is different. Rajendra posed to marshal. Marshal means to arrange his thoughts. Okay, to arrange his thoughts. Then, but is there any contact between those many worlds? Then Professor Gaitonde asked. Then Professor asked him, "Is there any connection between these two worlds?" My dear children, Professor Gaitonde also has visited two different worlds. In the same way, the same atom has visited or has gone into two different worlds locations. Yes or no? Imagine two worlds. For example, in both an electron is orbiting the nucleus of an atom. Again, it is science. So, in the both the worlds, single atom can visit, like planets around the sun. Like this planet, Earth goes around the sun. Gangadhar Pant interjected. Okay, interjected means said in between. Means Gangadhar Pant was getting the things properly. Not quite. We know the precise trajectory of the planet. The electron could be orbiting in any of a large number of specified states. These states may be used to identify the world. Means this atom can be found in any state in any two worlds, and these states may be used to identify the different worlds. In state number one, in one state we have the electron in a state of higher energy. Means in first world the you can say the state of one atom electron is high energy. In state number 2 it is state of lower energy. Got it? In first world it is of higher energy, and in second world it is of lower energy. It can make a jump from high to low energy and send out to pulse of radiation. This is the activity. It comes from high to low energy and send pulses to the next one, or a pulse of radiation can knock it out of state number 2 into state number 1. It means it may change from higher to lower, lower to higher. Such transitions are common in microscopic system. Okay, such things are common in microscopic system. Microscopic means large enough system. What if it happened on a microscopic level? What happens if it happens on a large level? Rajendra said things like these things they happen on lower level. If it happens on the higher level, what will happen? Means things will go wrong, things will go opposite. I get you. You are suggesting that I made a transition from one world to another world and back again. Now the Professor Gaitonde got the idea of Rajendra that it is transition. It is what? It is transition to move from one world to second world. Gangadhar Pant asked, "Fantastic thought, though it seemed this is the only explanation I can offer. My theory is that catastrophe situations offer radically different alternatives for the world to proceed." Now, Rajendra said, "My theory, which theory? Catastrophic theory, provides me alternative to the world to go ahead. It seems that so far as reality is concerned, all alternatives are viable, but the observer can experience only one of them at a time." Means it is possible that an electron can move to different worlds, but the observer only one. The observer can stay, or the observer can observe one activity at one time, not the both the world, like an electron or like the Professor Gaitonde. At one time, he experienced one world. In the same time, an electron can visit in one particular world, not the both the worlds. Then, by making a transition, you were able to experience two worlds, although one at a time. Isn't it? Same thing. The one you live in now, and the other, and the one where you spent 2 days. Now, Rajendra told him that you also have visited two different worlds. One, right now you are living in the real world, and the second one where you have spent 2 days. One has the history we know, the other different history. One has the history means the past time, and one is of the present time world. The separation or bifurcation took place in the Battle of Panipat. Okay, these two different worlds, they got separated with the point of Battle of Panipat. You neither travel to the past nor to the future. Now Rajendra told him, you did not go to history and you did not go to future. You were in the present but experience a different world. You were in this world only, present world only, but you were experience different world. Of course, by the same token, there must be many more different worlds arising out of bifurcation at different point of time. And he also agrees that there might be more than two worlds experienced at the same time, but all this they depend on arising out of bifurcation separation, and this is happening because of transition. A transition took place. That's why the Professor Gaitonde visited two different worlds. And my dear children, today what we are reading the exemplification given by uh, Rajendra Prasad to make his friend understand the theory of catastrophe and quantum theory, both of them. As Rajendra concluded, as he stopped or as he concluded his thought process or the discussion, Gangadhar Pant asked the question that was beginning to bother him most. But why did I make the transition? Now he got the point that how it is possible to make transition of two different world, what we experience in the past time and what we experience in future time, like all these things. And he also agrees that he was in the present time and experienced two different world. But the question arises by Professor Gaitonde, why did I make the transition? Then, if I knew the answer, I would solve a great problem. Unfortunately, now Rajendra said, if I had been known this particular question, I would have solved a great problem of this world. Then, unfortunately, there are many unsolved questions in science, and this is one of them. Rajendra quoted. This question is one of them which is unsolved, but that does not stop me from guessing. Rajendra smiled and proceeded. You need some interaction to cause a transition. You need some interaction. Interaction means conversation, sharing of ideas with somebody else. So interaction is must to cause a transition. Perhaps at the same time of collision, you were thinking about the catastrophe theory and its role in war. Now, Rajendra gave a clue, a guess point, that when the accident took place of your car, at that time you were thinking about catastrophe theory, and maybe you were wondering about the Battle of Panipat, or might be at the same time when the accident took place, you were thinking about Battle of Panipat. Perhaps the neuron in your brain acted as a trigger. Now got the point? Neuron of your brain, they acted as a trigger. Understood? This is the thing. Trigger means cause of particular reaction or development. Like trigger we have in revolver. So this is the cause to some kind of reaction. Okay. So this is the guess point given by Rajendra Prasad, and it was right that when the accident took place, at the same time he was thinking about the catastrophe theory as well, Battle of Panipat. A good guess. I was indeed wondering what course history would have taken if the result of the battle had gone the other way, Professor Gaitonde said. He agreed that what would happen to the world of this present time if the battle of Panipat had gone on the other side. That was going to be the topic of my thousands presidential address. Now he made this topic, battle of Panipat and all, his 1000th, means 1999, he has already conducted meetings. Now 1000th meeting topic will be this one. What? The battle of Panipat. Now you are in the happy position of recounting your real life experience rather than just speculating. Rajendra laughed, but Gangadhar Pandit was grave. Grave means sad. No, Rajendra, my thousandth address was made on the Azad Maidan. Now Professor Gaitonde agreed that he had already completed 1000 speeches or meeting. Where? Because he was removed from the stage in Azad Maidan. Okay, do you remember this one? When I was so rudely interrupted. Rudely interrupted means disturbed. Okay, communication was disturbed. No, the professor Gaitonde, who disappeared while defending his chair on the platform, will now never be seen presiding at another meeting. Now, this is the scene of Azad Maidan. He was removed by the public from the stage, and after that, we could not see him again in this crowd, in that crowd. So, I have conveyed my regret to the organizer of the Panipat seminar. Now, he has given his, regret, and he felt sad that he had done a very bad job to the people who gathered over there in the Azad Maidan, to the organizer of Panipat seminar. Okay, so this is the ending of this chapter, my dear children, and I hope you have got the point of quantum theory and catastrophe theory. I will be posting you answers of this chapter. Thank you. Have a good day.